You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
We are high above the Kansas Speedway on a very special day of remembrance. Patriots Day, 9/11, we will never forget. Welcome to the iSNF Sunday Night Fever Cup Series. Tony Trapasso, Jason Sauford up in the booth, and joining us as well, the league owner and league chief admin here in the iSNF, Miss Rhea Ferris. And Rhea, we race for something special tonight.
Yes, we do. 21 years ago today, in fact, was a very life-changing event for a lot of Americans, or even all Americans, I should say. A lot of the world affected in a very tragic way, and a lot of loss, but also a lot of gain over time. 21 years, as we have evolved into a very solid country since then, and but you have to always pause on this day and look back at the events that unfolded on that Tuesday morning in New York City, as well as Washington, D.C., and the rural areas of western Pennsylvania.
Yes, absolutely. And we remember the men and women who gave their life trying to save others. It was definitely a time where New York's finest and New York's bravest came together as one. Civilians came together to save countless lives, and we race in their honor here today at in the heartland of the United States, Kansas Speedway, and definitely with a heavy heart we race today. I do know that, and it's something, Jason, you and I discussed on Wednesday. Another remembrance that we need to make known is it's still a time of mourning for our friends and family over in the United Kingdom, as earlier this week we did lose the Queen, the longest sitting monarch in modern times. Jason, I know things are a little up in the air over where you are in the world, so are you guys getting on over there all right, or you need a beer?
Yeah, well, who doesn't? But yeah, we're doing all right, I'd say. I mean, this is unfortunately a fact of life, but time must go on. Unfortunately, the Queen has said, but long live the King.
As now King Charles taking over, but let's do away with that right now and think of happier things, as we are in the hot lap session here. And Rhea, I believe we've got a couple of debutantes making their start here in the iSNF Cup Series tonight.
Yes, we have Nathan Alloul from France starting tonight as a sub in car number 48 in place of Brian Treadwell tonight. So he's a first comer to the league, so we welcome Nathan. He did race earlier in the Xfinity Series to get his feet kind of, his toes dipped in the water, but he is the fastest in practice today here in the Cup Series now, and definitely made a good decision to let him move on up to Cup as a sub, showing the way here. Angel Hernandez, another very non-disappointing decision to move up to Cup into a sub role today in place of Tommy Stanley, is Angel Hernandez in the 55 Hex.com Ford, representing the country of Mexico tonight. And we have Christian Delgado. I do want to mention the only hometown hero that is going to be present in the race. He's actually from Kansas, lives in Kansas, Abilene, Kansas, about 100 miles or so west of this track.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. And Sky McGurk being the only other possibility of a hometown hero is actually at the live NASCAR venue tonight. So we want to say hello to Sky, but
Uh,
As we are
one thing I've noticed, Rhea, actually, is that you wanted the 7 nationalities at Watkins Glen, correct?
yes.
We have that here.
Yes, I did notice that.
Well, we figured it out, and that's good. I'm very happy to see the diversity uh, ease our way into ISNF over the course of time, and yeah, that's amazing. Other than a sellout crowd, having more nationalities being represented as well is important. But while we're under qualifying, guys, we do have 4 laps tonight to do a qualifying. Taking a look at that leaderboard for the standings, for the point
Yes.
standings.
Let me just pull that up real quick.
And everyone with a dub so far this season, by the way, is locked into the playoffs as long as they maintain a 30th position or higher at the end of the regular season. So, guys like Francisco Villarreal with his Daytona 500 victory, for example, is finding a way to somewhat stay in that top 30 by showing up now and again and hiring a sub now and again. And as long as he maintains that top 30, he will, in fact, be able to race in the playoffs. So we are doing something very similar to what NASCAR is doing in real life. We have 6 different winners out of the first 7 different races, guys.
That's impressive with the level of talent that's in this field week in and week out, Rhea.
Yeah, and it goes to show exactly what this next gen car is doing in real life and as a simulator too. Is it diversifies that skill and talent that you're talking about. So it brings, the quote unquote Ross Chastains of the league kind of up front a little bit and gives them a shot at a dub.
It does with that, and the 2 debutantes out on track right now, currently sitting first and second in qualifying is, of course, AJ Green and Linus Brostrom decide to blister laps. Allow immediately bumps AJ Green back off on his final lap with a 30.9. First one to go sub 31 here. Angel Hernandez immediately up to second. Chris Worrell subbing in the 20 tonight. There he is in the DeWalt Tools Camry. Currently sits third quick. And
I always put the Swedes in here too, Tony, by saying that the grandstands look like an IKEA.
You're not wrong.
Does that not look like an IKEA?
You're absolutely not wrong. It definitely has that feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you just want to go in and go furniture shopping.
Sure.
Get some meatballs.
And get some Swedish meatballs out of the cafeteria. Yes, absolutely. But I had to just bring a little bit of humor into this mix, guys. I'm sorry to go off topic there for a second, but
stuff happens.
It does. We have clear skies out here, Tony, and the weather's looking fantastic. So
absolutely. So we're going to take a look at the weather real quick here. 72-degree ambient air temperature, 37% relative humidity, which means these engines are going to be making gobs of horsepower here tonight. The 10-mile-an-hour winds has me a little bit concerned because that's going to be a cross breeze coming out of turn 2. And that's going to wreak hell on these cars because turn 2, or the wall on the exit of 2 comes up quick enough as it is. You don't need the wind to help you.
No, yeah, and it being in the heartland of America, as we all know, it's flat and not a lot of trees. As far as forests go in that area, in the Great Plains, there's just pockets of trees here and there, like in the Midwest. And you will get a gust now and again. But good luck, guys. And course, if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to drop down the Team Penske. Good luck to everyone out there that's in the race. Thanks for joining us this evening. And folks in the chat, don't forget to cheer on your favorite driver tonight. And don't forget to hit that like button and share the broadcast. It does help us get league exposure and hopefully land a sponsor. So, guys, we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So qualifying does come to an end. Jason, let's take a quick look at our starting grid for tonight. As cars starting to grid up right now. Linus Brostrom for Forza Esports going to start on the pole with a 30.903. A dead heat with Nathan Alul. They had to go out to the fourth decimal point by 0.2 of a second. Brostrom gets the pole award. Angel Hernandez, the other series debutant here tonight, is going to start inside row number 2. He's got Chris Worrell to his outside. The Irishman Damien Mulvey is going to be joined with the Swede Jonas Skoglund in row number 6. Canadian Adam Duff and American AJ Green. Green being the second American to start in the grid tonight. Going to be rolling off in the 4th row. In all international 5th row with Alex Weigert and Christian Malsharek. Chad Thornquist and Marcus Hagman rounding out your top 12. Jason?
Yeah, and row number 7 is going to go to Derek Cook and Curtis Kelly, with row number 8, David Miller and Jason Ricketts. Michael Hagstrom and James Bowles are in 17th and 18th. And top 20 is rounded out by Charles Roberson and Colin Forrester. Row number 11 is going to go to Isaac Wilson and Ricky Hudgens, with row 12 going to Tristan Rivers and Eugene Thorntony.
Chris B. and Zach Phillips making up row number 13. Row 14 is going to see Brian Chu and Mark Honeyman Hanna. Rhea Ferris and Emily Fregal in an all-female row 15. Jeff Weimer and Christian Delgado in row 16. Row 17 is going to see Johnny Castle and Clarence Prince, with Dave Holmberg and Colin Zimmer in row number 18. Jason?
Emily Urias and Bob Wyckoff going to be, am I right?
Yes.
Yes, 37th and 38th. So what is that, row 19?
Yes.
Yeah. Getting myself confused with numbers. And John Hopley and J.B. Banner are going to be in row number 20. And if Taylor Butch Benjamin is here, which I don't think he is, he would have been starting 41st.
I don't see him in the session.
Yeah, connection dropped due to upload packet loss.
There we go.
So he may be in eventually. Hopefully he is.
So 40 cars scheduled to go the distance here tonight, 200 miles at Kansas, as the field rolling behind the iRacing pace car. Into turn number 3 they go. And Jason, it's going to be a fun one here at Kansas as the field works its way through the 3-4 complex. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some corn because it's time to get it on in the heartland. Race fans, it's show time! Brostrom pulls the trigger, and we are underway as Alul and Hernandez trying to slot in right behind him. Brostrom with a good getaway, too wide in his slipstream right now, as it's an international battle at the front of this piece.
Very even start. Oh, we're going to have trouble already. It's going to be happening behind with Isaac Wilson, I think, being involved.
Chris V getting a huge piece of that one.
Yeah, I'm not, have to have a look at that. The number 8 car has a broken right front suspension already, unfortunately.
He did at that, as there you see the 8 car in the middle of a 3-wide situation. Sorry, that's the 6. Oh yeah, no, they were definitely having issues there. Wilson with a ton of damage. Let's go back and follow along with the 8. See what did happen here. Almost got run over on the start.
But it seems the 52 just lost it a little bit into the 8.
And I'm sure the 3-wide situation in front of him didn't help at all. But that's that crosswind I was telling you about. It was gusting to 12 right when that happened. And, oi! I believe it was John Hopley in the 19. Ouch!
Yeah, and the 23 unfortunately guessed wrong with the way that 8 car was going.
Yeah, that was definitely a wild situation. And just like that, we are under caution, not completing a full lap. So we're going to rack them, stack them, and try it again.
And looking down the grid, it's already a 9-place gain for Bob Wyckoff.
For guessing right.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt slightly helped by that wreck, but you got to put in the work to get there as well. There's a decent number of drivers, +4, +5, +6.
Mark Hanna +7.
Yeah. Up at the front, it's Angel Hernandez and Nathan Alul have swapped positions. So Angel doing well to get up into 2nd place from his 3rd within, what, 2/3 of a lap?
Roughly that about. There is, helps if I turn that on, doesn't it? Alul, driver out of Paris. Ow! Ow!
Was that cat related?
Yes, our new broadcast partner just decided to jump in my lap, claws out, and I'm wearing shorts.
Don't worry, they will learn eventually. That's not the way.
Yeah, especially when I grab her by the scruff of her neck and put her back on the floor. So Brostrom showing the way. The 2 series debutantes, Angel Hernandez and Nathan Alul, rounding out your current podium. Chris Worrell, Damian Mulvey picking up right where they started in 4th and 5th. Adam Duff +1 up to 6th. So, and on behalf of the league, we do need to give a very happy birthday to Bjorn Brostrom. Happy birthday, sir. As your son currently leading this race here at Kansas. 134 laps of scheduled distance here tonight. No stage breaks. 5 total sets of tires to get him through the event tonight. So laying 4 extra in the pits. They've got the set that they started the race on. So the Chakra Sweden native going to lead us back to green as the lights have gone out on the pace car, Jason.
Yep, they have indeed, and you know exactly what that means. 1 to green. Gonna get everyone double file. They still have a bit of closing up to do, I think, but we'll get there as we get around the lap.
We will at that, as everybody seems to have gotten back in line. The 4 cars involved in that little incident, that little fracas, whatever you want to call it, have all been on pit road for the last 4.5 minutes. And we expect that to be a little bit longer as they try to get those suspension pieces fixed. As the field working its way through the 3-4 complex one more time. And there we see the starter with the flag in his hand, ready to fire this one back off. Pace car is in, into the Geico restart zone they come. Brostrom pulls the trigger, and we are back underway.
good launch, and then still Angel Hernandez and Nathan Alul trying to battle for that second place. Chris Worrell up on the outside in the number 20 trying to join that as well, but he might be having to look behind towards Damian Mulvey as well in that 51.
He is at that, as Mulvey was down on the apron there, but we've got a battle for second starting to get hot and heavy. France taking on Mexico right now, as we've got one into the wall on the high side. I believe that was Adam Duff.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. You see a little bit
nearly
of...
going to be 3 wide.
They're trying. They're definitely trying for it, as it is an all-international affair at the front of this piece. There's Linus Broström, the Swede, showing the way. He's got the Mexican Angel Hernandez all over him. Nathan Alul from France going into a slugfest with Damian Mulvey right now. That is your battle for third. And then Chris Worrell and Alex Green going after each other for fifth.
There's some great battling behind them as well, with battles going on pretty much everywhere. Alul going very low to try and shorten the track to get some defensive going on both Mulvey and Worrell. Looking to take that third position, as there's a battle for the lead going on here as well. Angel Hernandez putting up a great fight here against Linus Broström on his outside.
Letting it eat on that top lane, trying to wrestle the lead away. Does have the clear coming off of 4, and just like that, Hernandez has already led his first lap here in the iSNF Cup Series.
With, I'm sure by the looks of things, many more to come, as we've got some still brilliant battling for 4th and 5th. I don't think this has stopped since the green flag first flew between Worrell and Mulvey. AJ Green joining the battle around the outside now as well. 10 laps in, your tyres are still going to be feeling pretty decent, but those higher lanes are going to be feeling much, much better as we go through the tyre run time.
Yeah, that bottom feeder line is not working at all for Worrell right now. Is now Broström under heavy attack by his Hendrick teammate. Alul on the bottom line, going to drop in behind Broström. That's your battle for second and third. And a ride change to speak of tonight. James Bowles was driving for Penske, moves over to the Roush Fenway number 6 here tonight.
A little bit of silly season going on here in the iSNF with Bowles replacing Isaac Wilson, who is now in a sub role.
Jonas Skoglund working on the outside of Christian Malsharek. That is your battle for 11th. As the 45 of Curtis Kelly right there as well. An all-international battle for just inside the top 10. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Adam Duff, the Canadian. Jonas Skoglund, the Swede. Curtis Kelly, the Canadian. And the Slovakian Christian Malsharek, all right there within striking distance, as is the American David Miller in the 21 on the low side. Meanwhile, back up for 4th, that's Mulvey doing the top line, as AJ Green looking to his inside. Down the back straightaway they come. The man out of Cork doing what he has to do. One of the strongest runs, and this is right in Mulvey's wheelhouse. Tracks like this is where we see, that scrapping, fighting Irish, if you will, of Mulvey really, do well, as they bring it down the American Ethanol back straightaway. Mulvey back into 4th. AJ Green going to have to slot back into 5th as they almost go 3 wide going through 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looks like that ultra high lane is already working pretty well for the 51, so wouldn't be surprised to see many more drivers going for that as well, as you see AJ Green going much lower, as they're nearly threatening to be 3 wide with another car. I believe that's Weggett on the low side.
It is, but we've got a battle for second really getting hot and heavy, as those 2 Hendrick cars are just going after each other. Broström, though, able to slot in front of his teammate Nathan Alul. Alul in his first start So, I mean, let's take a look at our podium right now. The man from Mexico leading. The man from Sweden, it's subs top 3. Hernandez, Brostrom, and Alul all subbing tonight, sitting in your top 3. Damian Mulvey, one of the series regulars, in 4th. I mean, it's an all-international top 5 right now. We have 5 of the 7 countries represented here tonight sitting inside your top 5. That's pretty impressive, Jason.
Yeah, we do at that, as there's a lovely battle going for the lead. Angel Hernandez, the man from Mexico, taking a bit of the wall on the outside of entry to 1. So that is not going to help his run, as he's got Linus Brostrom working his inside, with Nathan Alul potentially trying to follow his Hendrick teammate.
The second lane
already
paying
working.
dividends.
Yeah.
They were almost 3 wide at the stripe, as Alul wisely backing out of it. Mulvey into the wall in 1. Oh no, and Giannis Skoglund around.
Yeah.
What happened there? Keep your eye on the 41 on the extreme top side. Has AJ Green all over him.
Someone just hit Skoglund about 15 seconds after the caution was called.
Well, we'll take a look at that. And why can I not find it? There it is.
3.
Here we go. I went back too far, folks. Sorry about that. There is Skoglund in the 41. Just gets into the 6. Little beating and banging coming to the stripe. 3 wide going into 1 is never a good idea. Ouch. That was a shot.
I guess it would have been alright.
And
in hindsight, yeah.
What on earth just happened? Of course.
Using hindsight, you could say the 45 could have been lower, but obviously they wouldn't have known that the 41 was going to get slowed up by hitting the 6, and they may not have even known that the 6 was going to be a factor at this point.
I'm just trying to figure out what the heck the black car was thinking when it came piling in there. I believe that was the 52 of Ricky Hudgens. Yes, it was. Zero attention being paid by the 52. Goes into the wall, goes into Skoglund, and yeah.
That was
apparently something happened to Chad Thornquist as well. So Thornquist was one of the ones catching a piece of this one. There you see him in the 11 on the top side. All hell breaks loose in front of him, and bang, gets nerfed down into the 21. He goes. Emily Frogrell catching a piece.
Wow.
Jeepers.
Yeah. And I can tell you that the 11 was not particularly happy about that. I'm our
understandable.
I'm our reporter listening into their radio conversations now, and
yeah, you get that advantage over me because I'm running the cameras and I can't do that because, well, we want to keep these broadcasts PG. Here's the Shockford Sweden native in the money team coming into 1 in that Pit Viper Camaro. Gets it woed down and gets into the back of the 31 and then gets run over from behind by defending series champion Marcus Hagman. Well then.
This is really unfortunate for Thornquist, to be honest, because he's only missed 2 races.
Mm-hmm.
And he has won a race. So you'd think, oh yeah, he'd be in the top 30, right? No,
not so much.
Unfortunately not. It seems to be that, well, he's only had 1 top 10, so I think he's getting quite unfortunate in a lot of these races.
He is, and we saw quite a few pit stops take place there. Angel Hernandez electing to stay out. Jason Ricketts and Colin Zimmer came down on lap 2 under the first caution. Linus Brostrom, fuel only. Chris Worrell, fuel only. Damian Mulvey, Alex Weigert, Adam Duff, and Brian Chu, all fuel only. First man to take tires is going to be that young man in the 91. That's AJ Green. Currently your biggest mover, though, is the 62 of Colin Zimmer, having not come down pit road, the Chester, New Jersey native, rocking the Wendy's paint scheme tonight. So, very interesting. As the lights do go out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car, Hernandez going to have the button this time, as the man from Mexico going to lead us around. He is the control car in that Hex.com Ford Mustang. He's going to be joined with the Ford of Jason Ricketts on the outside. 2 Chevys of Linus Brostrom and Colin Zimmer making up row number 2. Chris Worrell and Damian Mulvey in a Toyota and a Ford. That's row 3. Alex Weigert, Adam Duff, Brian Chu, AJ Green rounding out your top 10 as we get ready to turn them loose, putting 21 laps in the books.
By the looks of things, we've had multiple retirees now. Chad Thirdquist has decided to retire the car, as has Tristan Rivers. Teller Butch Benjamin wasn't able to rejoin as it was, so currently we are 3 cars down from the expected 41 start. As the pace car comes down pit road, Angel Hernandez is going to have the button. People have gone early so far, and he doesn't change this.
About halfway through that Geico restart zone, he pulls the trigger, and we are back underway as Linus Brostrom looking to the inside of Jason Ricketts. Neither one of those drivers has put fresh tires on the car, just fuel only for both of them. There you see the Dawsonville, Georgia native on the top shelf, driving 38 tonight, is sitting plus 14s. We're 3 wide behind them.
It's wide enough if you can get it through.
Mulvey sticking to that extreme high line as the 62 of Zimmer is going to slot up in front of him. Get a nice pull down the back straightaway here as Worrell working the inside as Brostrom got caught out. 3 wide, and we've got one around. That's Worrell sideways. We stay green, though. What a save.
Yep, he held on to it, and there were a few saves behind him as well, as 3 wide with the bottom car a little bit too far up, I'd say, and that's a brilliant save from him, and the battle up front continues.
AJ Green using those fresh tires to pick his way through this field. Collins Forrester on the fresh shoes. There he is in that jockey ace, currently doing battle with Angel Hernandez. Hernandez trying to stick it on the high side, not going to be any factor for the fresh shoes on Forrester. Forrester first lap led tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, though I do have a feeling with pitting 19 laps into a 134 lap race, they've only got 4 extra sets of tires, so 5 total. That might have been a bit early to shoot for extra tires, though I definitely understand those who came down to get extra fuel in the car, as AJ Green also makes his way past Angel Hernandez, as will Curtis Kelly, presumably, through 3 and 4.
Exactly, as Hernandez trying to do what he can to conserve that car. Still not too shabby for not having been down pit road. 19 lap newer tires for the 3 cars in front of him. Jason Ricketts on the same tire strategy as he is, now under pressure from Linus Brostrom. Brostrom came down for fuel only, so definitely an advantage for the 5, as we've got a slugfest behind him, as I believe that was the 62 of Zimmer getting into the wall going into 1. Damian Mulvey trying to pick his way through.
It wouldn't surprise me if some people are hitting that outside wall. Maybe not necessarily as much as we saw last week in Darlington, but certainly happening here is 3 wide for about 10th, 11th, 12th place maybe. Still 3 going through 1 and 2.
That's Chris Worrell, who was the meat in the sandwich. Wisely, the 43 of Alex Weigert backing out of it to give Worrell a hole. as the 42 of Delgado on the low side out of Aberdeen, Kansas. Your hometown hero here tonight, currently into the top 10, plus 22 from where he started. 3-wide situation behind him.
Would it surprise you to know that it involves Chris Worrell again?
No, and it wouldn't surprise me that Chris Worrell just brushed the wall coming off of 2 again.
Honestly, that man is an absolute maverick, and he knows what he needs to do to try and get back up to the top as quickly as possible. Well, and he sure is trying it. Unfortunately, hitting the wall is not helping him.
It's not at that. Chris, one of those guys that runs every Friday night in a super speedway league, one of the few that's crazy and brave enough at the same time to go 3 wide at Daytona on the high side.
Yeah.
That's just asking for trouble most of the time.
He has the skill to back it up, which is
correct.
Which tends to be very important in these situations, and still running that high line to conserve those tires with someone on the inside. That's Ricky Hudgens
in the 52. As we got a battle raging on right now, that is Bob Wyckoff in the 78, as he's got Marcus Hagman just in front of him, and that is Clarence Prince to the high side, as they are 2 wide. The boss lady right behind them, as she's now having to deal with the Pit Viper 50 of Emily Figueroa. Those two have not gotten away from each other all night so far. But right in front of them, Wyckoff and Prince, both some of your biggest movers. Wyckoff plus 14, Prince plus 9. As that is Hagman to the outside of Wyckoff. Hagman's going to drop back just a little bit. Brian Chu up there as well, rocking the Skittles Camry here tonight. Wyckoff continuing his charge forward, now plus 16.
Yeah, and Clarence Prince being forced to relinquish some of those positions there, now driving once again full-time for the Team Hezebug 26 Toyota, so that's good to see. Which is another one of the changes that's happened mid-season before Kansas, and there seems to be a pretty nice battle for 4th here between James Bowles and Nathan Alul, both of whom have taken new tyres by the looks.
They have at that, as that's Alul on the bottom side wrestling it away from the Ford of Bowles. So Alul back up into the top 4. They've got a 2.25 second gap to get to 3rd place Colin Forrester, as there is a battle raging behind them as well. That's Christian Delgado and Mikael Hagstrom going after each other. Hagstrom on the top side, Hagstrom on the low side, Delgado on the top shelf. Little Ford on Chevy action there in the mid-pack, as AJ Green and Curtis Kelly going after each other for the lead.
Yeah, battles all around the track. We don't know where to look. With Curtis Kelly looking to wrestle the lead away from AJ Green, but we've seen that it's
11.
Seems to be fairly simple to defend around here once you get 15 or so laps into a tyre run. If you just sort of hold that outside, then the inside lane can tend to not work too well, though AJ Green is still sticking fairly inside, so
as we're
clearly
watching,
those tyres are working pretty well for him.
Well, we're watching the battle for 11th right now, as you were talking about. Brostrom and Hernandez going after each other, with Worrell there as well. All 3 of those drivers on the same tires that they started this race on. Slight fuel advantage to Hernandez, as he's got a lighter load than the 2 around him, as they came down for fuel under the last caution, did not change tires. And the 17 of Derek Cook throwing his hat into the mix, as he's on the fresher tires, but by this point in the run, we're about 20 laps in. You've worn all the goodie off the tires, and now you're just elbow up trying to hang on.
Ooh.
62 into the wall behind him.
Yeah, and the 55 was into the wall as well, as we're going to be 3 wide off of 2. And getting that sorted out pretty quickly, but Derek Cook's still going to have the tyre advantage, even though we are 20 or so laps into that run, as you say. But it's still going to be better than 39 lap old tires, as we're seeing here, as he's working through them slowly, but not going to see that absolute dominance that we saw at the start of the this run.
Well, if we keep an eye on Angel Hernandez, as he's the only one who has not been down pit road yet here tonight, we're going to get an idea of what fuel economy these guys are going to be getting, especially with a 65% fuel fill. As Hernandez and Brostrom continue to go side by side, Hernandez using the top line to his advantage, and we've got a sea of Fords, a Chevy leading it, a Toyota sits in second, two Chevys, and then a sea of Fords right behind him, with the only other Chevy inside the top 12 is Christian Delgado's 42, currently sitting plus 25. Your biggest mover tonight is going to be, and there you see him on the top side there, trying to work on the two of Mikael Hagstrom.
We're all getting really slidey through 1 and 2, just about holding on to it. I'm still looking at the battle 12th and back.
We are back on that.
Yeah, throw a blanket over all of these guys.
Oh my goodness. So that is Angel Hernandez, Linus Brostrom, Chris Worrell, Dave Holmberg, Zach Phillips in the 31, Bob Wyckoff, all right there. And don't count out Charles Robertson in the 14, as he's not that far back. Now there is Rhea Ferris or Emily Fregrell, as those two ladies have gone after each other, currently both sitting plus 10. Ferris back in 19th, Fregrell back in 20th. Ferris looks to the inside of Robertson. Battle for 18th, starting to get real hot and heavy. Ford-on-Ford action. This Stuart Haas Ford on the top side. The Penske Ford slots in right behind. That's going to open the door for Fregrell on the low side.
Yeah, some great battling here.
Battle for 9th.
Yeah, absolutely. Battles everywhere. 9th being contested by Derek Cook and Jeff Weimer here, with the lap car of Ricky Hudgens just above Derek Cook at the moment.
And
I'm just looking at
I'm sure that paint scheme on Hudgens' car not making league management happy at all.
I'm assuming that's not particularly real. Okay, Chris.
And Chris Worrell, 8 different kinds of sideways coming down the backstretch. Let's go back and take a look
coming in.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's very well timed for Angel. Very well timed.
Just barely. As looks like something happened to Colin Zimmer. Let's take a look at what did happen to the 62 here. On the low side, coming down the back chute. Allegedly, this is what brought out the caution. Tries to go pit side. Catches it on the apron, and around she goes.
Yeah, it was still just about one side of the car on track and one side of the car on apron, wasn't it? So,
and this is let's take a look at what happened with Angel Hernandez here. Is you mentioned the timely caution for him as he was getting ready to come down pit road. There's Worrell getting all sorts of sideways coming off a 2.
Oh, did he have to just avoid it because of the caution coming out, closes the pit entry?
He did. He was trying to go for pit road. There you see him down on the apron. He almost loses it. Caution comes out, and he immediately ducks back out, missing the commitment cone and not getting penalized.
That's some good heads-up driving from him, I think.
It absolutely was.
I would have absolutely got a penalty there.
I probably would have as well, as wholesale pit stops now.
Yeah. Admittedly, I probably would have got a penalty and then started crying that I wasn't able to avoid it.
Yeah, Yeah,
And
same
please
here.
clear my penalty.
I would have been the same thing because I've been known to run out of talent. Speaking of which, Jason, last week you and I got in a little bit of hot water, and I would personally like to offer an apology to a statement that was made to the driver of the 4.
Yeah.
There was no malice meant to what you and I both agreed on happening. My fault, because I led that line of thought. But Emily Uria is definitely a talented young lady, and we consider her the little sister here at Sim Racing Media, as she is one of our broadcasters, and we are proud to have her on board as both a broadcaster and a racer. Very talented young lady out of Knoxville, Iowa. And currently sitting inside the top 25, sitting plus 13 from where she started. So that's a good gain in track position here with only 46 laps in the books.
It is, and I'll follow up your apology with one of my own. I deeply apologize. It was a very poor choice of words, to say the least. Train of thought, not exactly the most positive one. We want to foster a positive atmosphere
Correct.
here. We're all racers that are racing for fun and trying to improve our racecraft at the same time.
Absolutely. And again,
Positivity is a key ingredient.
like we mentioned, Emily, is one of our own here at Sim Racing Media, and she's like our little sister, if I dare say so. And I'm going to go on record as saying that if anybody has a problem with Emily, you've got a problem with me personally, and I'd be glad to discuss the situation with you after this race is over with. Feel free to reach out to myself if you have any problems, and we can get those problems sorted out, and you're welcome to test any theories that you have at your earliest convenience. Or as the kids say nowadays, FAFO. So,
Pretend I know what that means.
F around and find out.
Fair enough. So, number 8 is becoming the pace car.
As Mom said, he could become anything he wanted to, so decided to become the pace car. Is staying out for a wave around to get one of his laps back. That's Isaac Wilson. Christian Delgado in the 42, taking fuel only after taking tires the last time. The hometown hero going to have the button this time, as everybody restarting behind him on fresh shoes. So wholesale tire stops for the entirety of the field except for Delgado, using a little bit of pit strategery to get a lap led here tonight.
Yeah, now was about the right time for tires, I think. And I have noticed Angel Hernandez now sitting a lap down and having pitted 3 times. So
I believe one time was popped for speeding. Yes, popped for speeding on, as he was trying to catch the field and not have issues.
Someone in chat saying Angel went too far forward to pit and was out. Not exactly sure what that means, but pace car is off as we go towards green. Christian Delgado going to have the button and goes about exactly the same place everyone else has. It works well. Why change the formula?
Absolutely, as Curtis Kelly under heavy pressure now from your points leader, AJ Green. That's Green on the low side, Kelly on the top shelf, as it's an all North American front at the lead of this piece. Top 4 drivers all from North America. Kelly, the Canadian, and the only Toyota in the top 12. Good grief. That could have gotten ugly.
It still might. Oh.
Holy Christmas, what did I just see?
The number 1 shooting a gap that only a crazy man would, but luckily that crazy man is very talented as well.
Absolutely. Colin Forrester in the car tonight. James Bowles trying to make his bid, as he has the Paris native on the outside of him, the Pied Piper of Paris, Nathan Alul on the low side. trying to follow James Bowles around is Linus Broström on the top shelf. First time we've seen that. Hendrick's car's number 5 on the top side so far. Mark Hanna in the Honey Wagon, the Ollie's Honey Wagon on the top side, as he's got Mikael Hagstrom on his low side right now. And everybody's starting to get a little more single filed out than we have seen this early in a tire run so far.
Yeah, it's getting maybe a bit more calm. As I say, that James Bowles going for a move down the inside of Colin Forrester into 1 and 2. But maybe recognizing that we're on lap 52 now of a 134 lap race. Still a long way to go.
Forrester still caught up on that extreme high line. As Bowles going to send it. Forrester using the top lane, though, gets the better run off of 4 and to the stripe. Still side by side for third. Linus Broström and Nathan Alul all both right there. Throw a blanket over your top 5. Mark Hanna back in 7th, just kind of biding his time. Go ahead.
Thank you for further clarification, Thomas. On Angel, he couldn't reverse to get him to gas the car up, so he clearly missed. Then had to go around again, came in, got popped for speeding, and then had to come in again. So
that sucks.
Unfortunately, third time's the charm, but not necessarily what you want when pitting, and as such, he is now a lap down. But is easily the lucky dog candidate, as he's the only one that's only 1 lap down. So he'll get back eventually.
As looks like
Worrell 3 wide.
Oh boy. Hanna wisely backing out of that one as they're almost 3 wide behind him. Oy. Robertson goes up and throws the block on no, I'm sorry, that was Weigert throwing the block on Robertson. Adam Duff working the inside. And there he is in the 16, door-to-door with defending series champion Marcus Hagman. Kind of digging the paint scheme on Hagman's ride tonight, representing the United States Coast Guard on that Hendrick Motorsports number 3. Some of the unsung heroes here in the United States as part of the armed services.
Absolutely. As Hagman still looking for his first win in this season. Funnily enough, also only 1 top 5 and top 10. I remember correctly, that came last time around?
Correct. As we're watching the battle for 5th, that's James Bowles on the high side, Mark Hanna on the low side. And they've got Nathan Alul and Alex Weigert. Wasn't it you that told me you hate the diamond formation?
No.
No, that was Dave. Sorry.
But it does freak me out a little bit if I'm in one.
Oh, absolutely. As here comes Hanna looking to the inside on Alul inside on Forrester coming down the backstretch. Hanna up into 4th, just sends it going into 3.
Absolutely, and Alul and Bowles still side by side. So, James Bowles trying to make that outside lane work. We're still only going to be about 10 racing laps into this set, so tyres are still going to be feeling A-OK for these drivers, so that inside is still very viable, but able to get it done on the outside. And the number 14 of Charles Robertson going to try and follow him through and possibly make ground on the 6 as well.
Looking to get a 2 for as he gets by Alul.
3.
Don't do
Not
it.
Quite.
They thought better of it. Wisely thinking better of it.
Yeah, James blocked that off fairly quickly.
As Robertson now looks to the outside. Drag race down the American Ethanol back straightaway here at Kansas. That's Robertson on the top shelf. Bowles on the low side. Robertson going to get the run in that impact Ford Mustang coming off of turn number 4. Just like that, Charles Robertson sitting in 6th. Bowles back to 7th. Your biggest mover right now is the 15, who currently holds down the number 4 spot. That is the Honey Wagon, driven by Mark Hanna out of Newport, Tennessee. And checking back in with our favorite little sister, currently sitting plus 18. There's Emily Urias in that Busch number 4. And she's under a little bit of pressure from the 26 of Clarence Prince on the low side. Lap car on the top shelf up there with them. As see Angel Hernandez trying to work on Christian Delgado. And I take that back. That's Zach Phillips. Sorry, on the low side. And the 55 into the wall, coming off a 2. Just light contact. And Jason, this is going to be the first race you and I have been able to call with each other since the new fatigue model came out in the damage model.
Yep, absolutely. So, for those of you unaware, if you keep repeatedly hitting on a certain part of the car, say for example here, that right front suspension on the outside wall, as unfortunately the 52 is displaying, then that will continually do damage as not seen before in the service, and you will be able to eventually fatigue it so much that it can snap off still from a light contact if you just keep hitting it. So they're going to have to be careful here, and they're probably pretty glad that wasn't a thing at Darlington.
Unfortunately, yes, that was not a thing for these cars at Darlington. Battle for third, hot and heavy, as that's Brostrom having to give way to the Ford of Mark Hanna. Hanna on a steady charge here tonight, up into the number 3 spot, currently sitting plus 25, your biggest mover, as Alul and Robertson now going after each other. Robertson on the top side, Alul on the low side. Robertson's wrestling the spot away from the Paris native, but Alul not giving up in his debut race here in the iSNF Cup Series. Robertson now sets his sights on the 1 of Colin Forrester. So Alul battles back on him. Short way around for the 48. Momentum line for the 14 and the 6. Throw a blanket, over 5th through 17th, 12th.
Yeah.
And you see the snap-on deuce of Mikael Hagstrom for Team Penske. 3 wide in front of him, Marcus Hagman on the outside.
Yep, 43 decided, no.
Wisely backing out of that one.
Then score it close.
Alex Weiger getting muscled out.
Yeah.
He's losing a ton of momentum. As that is a lap car, the 8 of Isaac Wilson, trying to pick his way through the field and get his lap back the hard way. A couple retirements to speak of so far. We've had Damian Mulvey put it on the hauler, David Miller, Chad Thornquist, Tristan Rivers, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin all putting it on the hauler. Jonas Skoglund has been on pit road for the last 30 minutes trying to get the engine changed in that ride. As here we go, Marcus Hagman making a move on James Bowles right now, going to wrestle the spot away from him. Thinking about making it 3 wide, as that's Duff and Robertson going side by side in front of him. Duff on the low side, Robertson on the high side. And there is the Canadian in the orange 16.
doing pretty well, sitting on the low side of the number 3. As now potentially looking for 14, though it's getting to that point in the tyre run, I think, where that outside lane is going to start to be more and more impactful.
It definitely is, as the last time these guys were down pit road was lap 45. And from what we saw out of Angel Hernandez in the opening salvo, you're looking about 40 laps. So sometime within the next 5 to 10 laps, we should be seeing a round of green flag pit stops getting ready to fire off here.
Yep, seems about right to me. As it's been an entire green flag run since the round of pit stops on lap 45, so they're going to have slightly less fuel mileage. So yeah, I'd say about 10 laps time, as we're 3 wide for 8th place.
Duff letting it eat on the top side.
Yeah.
Duff using the top line, Hagman using the extreme low bottom feeder line. Here comes the 14 of Charles Robertson back on defending series champion Marcus Hagman, as they are still side by side, hauling it off into turn number 1. Hagman on the low side, Robertson on the top shelf. Robertson has Weiger up there with him for some drafting help, as Hagman slams the door coming off a 2.
Yeah, he does, and I've just noticed we got the Coast Guard on the 3, and we got the Air Force on the 43.
We do at that.
So 2 very important branches of service on, ironically, two of our Swedes in the league.
Yep. All we're missing are the Army, the Navy, and the Marines, and we'd have the whole fleet.
As I mentioned, Air Force number 43 now defending from James Bowles on the inside, and he's working that inside really well, and maybe looking to get on the inside of the 14. Very close between the 2 of them.
That's putting a lot of trust in netcode. I mean, Jason, you know as well as... Hey! Netcode my ass. That was absolute contact.
Yeah, I think he just apologized a little bit on the in-sim chat, or as he got a little bit loose and unfortunately running up into the path of the 43. But no harm done in the end, as we are nearly looking 3 wide behind them. Chris Worrell once again involved. Who's surprised?
Raise your hand if you're surprised. 1, 2, 3, not it. But Worrell trying to make his way back up through the field after spending an extended time trying to get that car repaired under the caution. Spent over a minute and a half on pit road just trying to get repairs done to that DeWalt Tools Toyota Camry. And he's working side by side with Weigert right now. It's Weigert on the top shelf, Worrell on the low side. As we've got a battle for 7th between Duff and Hagman as they go door to door. Duff almost into the outside wall down the American Ethanol back straightaway.
Yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme, almost getting into the wall. I mean, that's the thing with using the outside lane, is that on exit you're really at risk of accidentally getting on the throttle a little bit too quickly and getting into that wall, especially with the crosswind that we've got. I mean, it's going to get pretty difficult to judge. As, yep, into the wall once again, this time mid-corner.
That's no bueno.
No! And have to be careful of that, as with the with what we mentioned before about the changes to the damage model. Repeated hits are no good.
And if you're wondering what it's going to feel like for that to happen, folks, go into your mom's pantry and grab one of her silver spoons, and don't let her know that you're doing this, and just start bending it back and forth. and see how many times it takes before that you have, instead of one continuous spoon, you have two pieces in your hand. That's basically what we're looking at. You're work hardening the car now, and it's going to be very easy to start snapping suspension pieces, as looks like the two going to be the first one to bring it pit side. Yep, that is Hagstrom bringing it pit side here on lap 79. So right around when we thought we were going to see it, we're seeing green flag pit stops start to take place. Back up here in the top five, or just outside the top five, it's Forrester, Duff, and Hagman going after each other. There's Duff on the top side. The one of Forrester has not come off that bottom line all race long, and it's starting to hurt him.
I mean, it's impressive that he can still run that. I mean, you see everyone using the outside lanes to try and conserve their tyres. I want to know how the number one's tyres are still on that car, because I know for a fact if I tried that, I'd probably be into the outside wall about 10 times by now, understeering everywhere. My lap times would be a second a lap off.
Well, the big question is, who's going to be the first one to flinch in your top 10? Simply because we're looking at just over 2 seconds of fall off here after almost 40 laps.
Well, and I was just thinking, for pit entry, from what we've seen prior, they're going to have to be careful, because that's a slippery bit of apron down there. If you get it wrong, we've seen it's easy enough to spin it, and that's actually what caused our last caution, and clearly it's easy enough to speed as well.
Marcus Hagman, the first one to flinch out of the top 10.
He is indeed.
As we are going to go back up to Duff and Forrester as they continue to battle with each other. And don't look now, but here comes the 20 of Chris Worrell. Battle right behind him with Robertson and Bowles going after each other. A little forward-on-forward action there.
I've been watching Duff, and he's having to absolutely work the wheel coming out the turns now, so those tyres are not going to be feeling fun. And surely he's going to have to pit in for fuel as well, as Charles Roberson's coming in. Looking at the timing of these pit stops, if we stay green the whole way, it's going to create an awkward little 10-15 lap stint at the end, so...
Yeah, we're not quite in the you can make it from here range.
No.
Battle for just inside the top 10 as Weigert looks to the inside of Bowles going through 3 and 4. 31 is Zach Phillips right behind them as he was looking to make it 3 wide. Oi! Jason Ricketts and Christian Malsharek bringing him pit side as well. There is Bowles on the top side and Alex Weigert on the low side. Using a little side draft coming off of 2. Tries to kill the run of Zach Phillips. Phillips having none of it. Curtis Kelly peeling it off to go pit side.
I wonder if anyone's trying some extreme fuel saving here as Chris Worrell's coming in as well.
I don't think you can make it from here regardless. I mean, you're asking 50. You're 50 laps to go.
Yeah, you're asking a lot. I know that.
Yeah, that is a big ask out of a tank will go fast, especially on a 65% fuel fill.
If you can get 45 out of a tank, then
Oi!
Oh, someone's blown an engine. Or have they? Or was it just a massive lockup?
That was a massive lockup. We're going to go back and take a look at that one.
Mark Hanna.
Keep your eye on the 15 as we are looking back at the previous lap.
Oh, I see.
Hannah's going to come in this time, as does the 8.
Yeah, he got it slightly, very, very loose on the apron, actually. I was going to say slightly. Very loose, and then...
Looks like he may have had contact with the 78. Both of them back up on track.
I don't think so, but all of
Hannah's going to
that's
get popped for an
recovery.
unsafe pit entry.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to get an unsafe pit entry for that, so unfortunately he's going to have to come back down again, or he's being held.
He's going to be held in his box.
Actually. Yeah. And he's in... Yeah. He's going to go a lap down for now. Not sure with the pit stops he will be a lap down. I think he will just about stay a lap down.
55 seconds in his box. As Duff comes pit side, Cook stays out to get a bonus point for leading a lap. And how about JB Banner? JB Banner, never say die. Back out on track.
Where are his tires from? That's what I want to know. He's coming in now. Is JB?
As you'd expect.
Yep.
So effective race lead is going to be right there with the 45 of Curtis Kelly.
Yeah. That is a change in lead then, isn't it?
I believe it is Cook.
I don't think Marcus Hagman was necessarily up there either, but he was one of the first to pit, so he got the he got the joys of going around 2 seconds lap quicker than everyone else.
The undercut working for both Kelly and Hagman.
Mm.
The man out of St. John's, Brunswick, has the Swede right behind him. Only about 5 car lengths is the gap in between those two. There's AJ Green in the 91, as he is working on the 26, who is a lap car. Why do I not see the 26? There he is. That's Clarence Prince on the top side.
8 into the wall. It looks like we've got a lovely little battle for 13th here. Jeff Weimer working on the inside of Zach Phillips now with
Here
James
comes
Bowles
Bowles.
not close in tow. 3 wide into turn 3 as James Bowles absolutely sending it round those guys.
Phillips wisely backs out of it.
Yeah.
Good grief. Hagman and Brickett's going after each other right now. That is your battle for 9th and 10th. Or sorry, 8th and 9th.
Yeah, between himself and Hagstrom.
Yes.
Now, some of these guys wasting no time at all trying to get through other cars. As that no, I'm not.
Emily Urias inside the top 20. Currently sits in 18th. Plus 19 for the young lady out of Knoxville, Iowa. Mikael Hagstrom and Christian Malshrek going after each other for 9th. There's Malshrek on the low side. Wrestles the spot away from the Dukes.
Driver getting through there as Alex Weggett is going to get past Mikael Hagstrom as well, and is now going to try to get past our Slovakian in the number 33, as he does.
Full send it on the fresh tires.
Easy. Made it look easy on the inside, as well, everyone's now on fairly similarly aged sets of tires, but
battle for 3rd.
I didn't expect it to look that easy.
With Marcus Hagman and Chris Worrell going after each other. Worrell going to send it going into 3. Hagman hanging tough on the top shelf, as Worrell just full send it mode.
I think that just shows you how the lines change, depending on how far into a tyre run you are, because you're going to see Hagman running slightly lower here. Not quite able to get alongside. I don't think he would have wanted to at that point in the turn anyway, but inside lane firmly quicker for now, and the lane you want's just going to move up and up and up as we go through, as we see now Linus Broström working the inside. Makes it look easy on Hagman, though. He did say thanks in the chat, so I'm not sure whether that was somewhat orchestrated or not.
Hagman just got into the wall coming off of turn number 4.
Yeah.
But two frenemies, friends but definite rivals for the title of World's Fastest Swede. And, Jason, speaking of World's Fastest Swede, you and I both had the privilege to broadcast round number 2 of the Svenska iRacing Ligan GT3 division on Thursday. What a race that was!
Oh, yes, we love GT3 racing, especially at Road Atlanta. Honestly, you wouldn't expect it with the amount of ovals here. You'd think, the road courses maybe slightly subpar, but the road courses here in America, unfortunately not looking at you, Kota, are good, very good.
We have some very fun layouts over here that a lot of them are underutilized. If you've never had a chance, Jason, I suggest going to Barber and VIR. Try those two tracks. You owe it to yourself as a racing fan to try those two layouts. Pick a car that you enjoy driving. Yeah. Both those tracks are so much fun, and there's multiple layouts at Barber you can choose from. Just have a good time with it.
Your tracks tend to use the lay of the land quite a lot, and I really like that in a track that doesn't necessarily mold the land around it, but uses what you've got.
And we're looking right at you, Coda, for doing that.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the ugly duckling in the field, but it's great when you've just got a track that uses its landscape and sometimes even uses banking to make it better, because even the road courses of ovals are great. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you've got the elevation changes at the Roval at Charlotte. You've got the roller coaster that is Mid-Ohio Sports Car Park.
Oh, yeah.
Laguna Seca. Watkins Glen to a slightly lesser extent, but still you've got some pretty decent elevation change coming up through the S's there.
Yeah, I was thinking Road America as well.
Road America, definitely, especially when you crest the Corvette or crest under the Corvette bridge. Yeah. It's a wild time there. Plus the kink on the back chute. We have some really strong layouts that I don't think enough people on your side of the big pond give us credit for.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, iRacing has completely opened my eyes to it. As speaking of great layouts, another nation with great racing layouts is France, and our French sub in the 48 has just made a nice little move on Marcus Hagman.
Very much so.
There's
a lot of great. A lot of great layouts, a lot of great historical layouts over there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rem was one of the layouts in France for a while too, wasn't it?
Yeah. The original tricky triangle, if you will.
Yes. Very high speeds, very sharp corners. On country roads, we might add.
Yeah.
And then you've got that thing down in Champagne country there, Cirque du Sarthe, which again uses country roads as part of it.
Though most French tracks, from where I remember, running clockwise. So Nathan Alul proving that he is also good at turning left, despite the fact that most tracks in France predominantly turn right.
Absolutely, as Adam Duff currently in a log jam right now, as you've got the
oh yeah,
good grief, you got The
My goodness.
38 of Ricketts, the 33 of Malshrek, the 16 of Duff, the 6 of Bulls, and the 31 of Phillips, all right there.
Yeah, we're having a fun time talking about tracks, and this is happening.
Where's our minds?
I think we need to get back on the action here as
Yes, we do. There is Malshrek
Battling
leading
happening.
this little fracas here.
Yeah, there's battling happening right around multiple lap cars. There's 16 into the wall. That right front's not going to be feeling too good. I've seen him do that maybe a few too many times this race. But didn't kill his run. He's got a good shot onto Malshrek now.
29 laps to go as Duff looking to the inside of the 33 of the Slovakian. Russell's is away, coming across the stripe on the extreme low side. Phillips looks to the inside as well as Malshrek not having a good time of it on that top shelf.
No. As just mentioning how Eugene Thorne has come in for his money stop. So maybe earlier than we will see from the rest of the pack by some margin, but just know that if you come in, you will be able to make it from here.
Absolutely, as we are inside 30 to go. AJ Green shows the way. Almost a full second to the good over second place Linus Brostrom, and 2 lap cars separating the two of them. Curtis Kelly in the 45 right there as well. A second and a half to the good over fourth place. That's Chris Worrell. And there is the debutant, Nathan Alloul, as we mentioned, the Pied Piper of Paris, France, driving the Ally number 48 tonight. As you are watching the Never Forget 200 from Kansas. Tony Trapasso, Jason Ricketts up in the booth here with you tonight. As we do remember 21 years ago when, unfortunately, Mighty Sucker Punch came flying in from somewhere in the back. Uh-oh. Okay, Zach Phillips coming in for his money stop. Marcus Hagman in as well.
And Weggett and Charles Roberson are engaged in a mighty battle coming through 1 and 2.
They absolutely are. As there you see the Swede rocking the United States Air Force colors on that Camaro. The Impact Ford Mustang for Stuart Haas on the top side as Clarence Prince going to come in for his money stop.
Now is about time. They've seen how well the undercut can do. Marcus Hagman going to try that again on the rest of the field around him, but Charles Roberson and Alex Weggett still not able to get that sorted out. Roberson running the outside, just about getting it sorted now, with Weggett going to go for it again on the inside after coming up to catch some draft on the back stretch.
Going to try to throw the block coming off the turn. Weigert not able to do it as Robertson's there. Weigert, though, does get the spot as Kelly and Bowles both peel off to go to their money stop. 2-second fall off as we currently sit. Everybody was last down on lap 45 or 46. Last lap time 33, low 33s for everybody that hasn't been down pit road. Best lap time for your top 3, 31 deads. 31-0 with some change for your top 3. As we are about to see the money stop, Alul peels off to go pit side. AJ Green still shows the way. There he is, your points leader coming into tonight in that Recon Chevy Camaro. There's Linus Brostrom now with only no lap cars between himself and Green. Worrell back there as well as he's working the top side on Christian Malshrek. Malshrek did come down for his money stop, looking to get his lap back the hard way. And you can see just how easily the 33 pulls away from the 20.
Yeah, and I was seeing that from the boss lady, number 12, Rhea Ferris. I was still watching the the 43 and the 14 as they've separated slightly now, but Ria Ferris has been down for a money stop, and you can see it with those tires. Absolutely just getting past them like a breeze as Chris Worrell is now in, as is Johnny Castle. Weggett coming down pit road as well, as is Ricketts.
As we are on board with the boss lady, and you can see what type of RPM she's able to carry through the corners, just getting down into the low 80s there, as we are going to jump up now to Linus Brostrom, who's on older. Linus Brostrom coming in. Let's jump on with Charles Robertson, and you can see just how slower Robertson has to go down into the mid 7,000 range just to get that car to turn as he stays out. So almost 1,000 RPM difference for those that have taken the money stop and those who haven't.
Yeah, of those who have taken it, Curtis Kelly currently the furthest car up, sitting in 10th at the moment, which we believe is going to be net first, though see where AJ Green comes out. It's going to be behind Kelly, so it's looking pretty good as it stands.
Kelly was down on lap 110 as we are 19 laps to go, and
8-second gap between himself and AJ Green, who's the next car to have pitted. Well, Marcus Hagman now, actually, who is the next car to have taken the money stop. So whatever he's done has gone really well for him, as he's looking to close out this race in the last 20 or so laps.
Defending series champion, showing why he's the defending series champion. Winning the championship last season with 0 wins on the season. It was all consistent finishes that got Marcus Hagman to the top step and to the top table at the season-ending banquet. So, working on Emily Urias right now is Urias came down on lap 114, so it's about 4-lap tire advantage for Urias, but Hagman holding close right now as AJ Green starting to reel in the Swede as they are in heavy lap traffic. Chris Worrell there as well. Wow.
Yeah, mental stuff happening here as they're all trying to get themselves sorted out, with Worrell now working the outside of Hagman. This is for effective second place, currently 7th, but you're not going to be able to make it from here if you haven't stopped in the hundreds of laps.
That Pit Viper number 50 of Fagrell, she drops back. Currently sitting plus 27, though. Still has to come down for her money stop, as that gap up to Curtis Kelly from Worrell, it's starting to come down. It was 8.5 seconds, now 8 1/4. The only thing is, Worrell is running out of time as Robertson, Duff, and Banner, your top 3, all have yet to come pit side.
Well, that gap's got to come down a load quicker than it already is, and for that gap to come down, Worrell's going to have to sort of convince the guys behind him to not fight him. And how are you going to do that with 15 laps to go with an 8-second gap in front of you? It's
now down to 7 3/4.
Yeah.
$14 laps to go as they're coming up on Colin Zimmer like a freight train right now. There is Zimmer, who is still coming out for his money stop. Currently sits in 5th, now back to 6th as Worrell flashes by. Brostrom and Green were almost into each other coming through 4.
Understatement of the year from AJ, saying, "Whoa, that was close." Yeah, you don't say.
It was definitely a Code Brown moment, to say the least, as Adam Duff does take over the lead as Robertson peels off to go pit side for his money stop. Kelly 7.25 seconds behind and gaining quickly, as both JB Banner, who currently sits in second, 38 positions up from where he started, is only just over a second in front of your effective race lead, Kelly. 13 laps to go.
And I've got to say, Burrell has done an amazing job at just absolutely dropping Green and Brostrom. He's just gone.
And he's got that gap between himself and Kelly down to just barely over 6 seconds.
It may be dropping quick enough, to be honest.
As Kelly works the inside of Banner, that's exactly what Worrell wanted to see.
Yeah. That gap's now down, 5.7, though. If Banner doesn't come down pit road soon, then Worrell's going to have to work around him as well, as the traffic ebbs and flows. It goes your way one time and your opponent's way the next. Anyone who's done multi-class racing will know about that, and honestly, with the tyre situation how they are, sometimes this does feel a little bit like multi-class racing on an oval. Though, as we found out from Week 13 ridiculousness, not necessarily the best idea.
Did you run the Talladega event with the Cup cars, the ARCA car, and the Indy car?
Oh, yes, I was the Indy car that was absolutely sending it everywhere.
Yeah, that's definitely a clench your cheeks tight kind of moment for the entirety of that race.
I am the king of find the gap and use it, as this is insane pace in comparison to Curtis Kelly from Chris Worrell. It's nothing to do with tyre difference. There's only 3 laps between them, as hard into the wall for a car behind them. But that gap's now down to 3.9 with, 8 to go?
It'll be 8 to go this time across the stripe, as Adam Duff continues to stay out. He's hemorrhaging time, though, just letting all the lap cars go by him. As there goes Hagstrom to get back on the lead lap. Here comes the 38 to get one of his laps back. That's Jason Ricketts.
Yeah, I guess then even if you would have been able to make it from your lap 80-something pit stop, it's not even really worth it. That tyre differential is enough to have warranted coming in, and it looks like we're going to have a pretty spicy battle here. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
As we're watching that battle with Worrell leading Green, Brostrom, Banner, and Alul.
Duff may get involved and be legitimately involved in this battle by how it's going. It would be amazing if he was able to stay out fuel-wise.
Everybody behind him is a second quicker a lap, and he's only got 3.5 seconds to the good. Or sorry, 2.75 seconds to the good, and only 7 laps to go. It'll be 6 this time across the stripe, as Derek Cook finally screams no mas in the 17, as that is AJ Green giving Chris Worrell for 3rd all he can handle right now. And we've got a battle for the lead.
Yep.
As Kelly has caught Duff working the inside, coming through 3 wide.
That is not what Curtis Kelly would have wanted to see, but
Emily Fagrell not caring.
Not a care in the world. Fair enough. Girl, you run your own race. You have the right to do that. As Curtis Kelly does make it past Adam Duff eventually, but that's not going to help the gap to the cars behind. Adam Duff will be caught up in this battle. It's still going to be insane if he can make it. But Worrell, Green, and Brostrom are catching him at a rate of knots and will be coming past fairly shortly as Colin Forrester gets a lap back on the 16.
Jesus!
Battling, hello.
3 wide behind as Brostrom and Green go flying around the lap car. That is the 77 of Dave Holmberg. And Worrell has caught Duff.
Stopped in the wall, turn 2.
Well, that changes things. We're going into overtime. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Emily. We're going to back that up even further there. There's the previous lap. Coming into one. Oh! Oh my! 10 just went up into her.
Yeah. That's not Emily's fault.
Not in the slightest. The 10 just blew the corner, blew the braking zone, tried to lean on Emily, and the only thing is, she didn't know it was coming. And into the wall both of them go.
Yeah.
And so that brings us under caution. Let's watch that one again from the chopper here. I'll back that up. And here you see Urias on the top side. The 10 just goes up into her, and boom goes the dynamite.
And the in-game chat, there are certain drivers, Curtis Kelly, not too happy about a caution being called, but say you do not know the full story. He's trying to say that Emily maybe could have got off the racing surface. No chance. Not with a suspension broken.
Both
like
right side suspension arms were completely broken off that car. She was not coming off the wall, not without the help of the tow truck. So a little pit strategery going on as Worrell, Duff, Hagman, Phillips, Robertson, Thorne, and Malsherek all coming down to put fresh shoes on those cars to close this one out as we are going into overtime. There goes the 9 to get the free pass.
And I'm going to blame that wreck on Thomas S. in the chat by saying, wow, an actual green flag race. That is what we call a spectator's curse.
So you can get your hate mail coming now. That's care of Thomas S., Sim Racing Media Towers, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, P.O. Box OU812.
But this is going to create an interesting finish. I mean, we thought that Curtis Kelly was going to be hunted down by Green, Brostrom, and Hagman. Hagman having actually pitted. So there are a few drivers who have chosen to pit. Worrell was pitted, Duff's pitted, Hagman, Phillips, Roberson, Thorne, Banner, and Malcharek being the drivers who have pitted who are on lead lap.
And they all took tires.
Yeah.
20 lap newer tires compared to anyone in front of them.
But is there enough time?
That's an excellent question. We're about to find out, I'm afraid.
I think there may be enough time if we get a second and maybe third green-white checker, because you'll be able to make up some spots.
Well, of the drivers that did take tires under this caution, starting back in 8th, Chris Worrell, Adam Duff, Marcus Hagman, Zach Phillips, Charles Robertson, Eugene Thorne, and Christian Malcharek. Yeah, they all know how to fully send a car around here.
Yes.
And they are going to use every bit of fresh rubber on those tires and apologize to the rims later, as we're in for a 2-lap shootout. For those of you unfamiliar with green-right checker, we'll explain it one more time. As green flag is going to come out, the leader has to come all the way back around to cross the start-finish line to accept the white flag for us to race back to checkers. Otherwise, we're going to rack them, stack them, and try it again up to 3 attempts. If at the end of 3 attempts we still have not been able to get around back to the white, field frozen, race over, we're finishing under yellow.
Yeah. As we are now 1 to green for our first green-white checker attempt here at the Never Forget 200 at Kansas. Thank you all so much for watching and being in the chat. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like racing and like watching our content. we've got a load of races on pretty much every day, I think, Tony. So
7 days a week now.
Yep.
As
Action
this
to
coming
look forward to
Saturday,
every day of the week.
This coming Saturday is going to be the premiere of Season 2 of the Sim Racing Media AI series, Aussie V8 Supercars.
Going down under for that one.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that one because those cars are so much fun to wheel around. As the lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car, the Toyota of Curtis Kelly going to lead us back to green. The lone Canadian in the top 10 right now as the pace car peels on off. Kelly has the button as he brings them into the Geico restart zone. What type of restart are we going to see? Holds him down, waits till the last possible second, and jumps on the loud pedal. And that's going to open the door for Linus Brostrom to get alongside AJ Green, 3 wide behind him.
Chris Worrell nearly tried to look to make it 4, and 3 wide is not going to be what he wants to see in front of him, as he's trying to make as much ground as possible on those fresh shoes. And what a great time to change up the restarts from Curtis Kelly. Change it as soon as it's going to be crunch time here as
Holy
Alex
macadocious.
running really close to the inside of another car. I think that was AJ Green nearly trying to be 3 wide. Worrell is here. He's made it to the front. Contact between himself and Curtis Kelly.
We are racing back to checkers. 3 wide for the lead is
3.
Brostrom into the wall. Kelly sideways. Worrell gets the lead. The 14 into the wall on the back straightaway. We stay green. Contact as Kelly goes into the wall again. Good grief. Chris Worrell shot out of a cannon. If you had told me he was going to do it, I never would have believed you. Chris Worrell, late race pit stop, taking fresh tires, comes home with the victory here at Kansas. Linus Brostrom hangs on for second. AJ Green in third. Let's go back and take a look at all the havoc that just got wreaked.
Absolutely, and you crazy, crazy but talented man, I'm sorry for doubting you.
This is coming to the white flag. Worrell's on the top side. Shot out of a cannon coming off of 4. Worrell almost gets into the back of the 45. The 45 is pushing hard. Brostrom is into the wall on the back straightaway. There is Robertson getting turned. The 43 involved in it. Duff. Oh! Carnage everywhere on the backstretch. Good grief, that's a parking lot.
Yeah, everyone
Holy
absolutely
cow.
wanting to put their car, well, where everyone else is in the best position, and as we all know, it's far too well, 2 cars into the space of 1 car does not go, and it's the last lap. You just sort of got to try and get through it as quickly as possible, don't you? You got to try it at least.
You have to. And
you're a racer if you don't.
And we're watching this again. There's Duff, who's trying to send it around the outside. They're 4 wide in front of them. As I kind of got to blame that one on the 6 of James Bowles, is he just got down into it. The 31 is up into the wall as well. That was Zach Phillips getting turned by the 45 of Curtis Kelly. Wow. That is carnage on the last lap. But, wow. Holy macadocious. As we are just waiting for some drivers to get in here, and Jason, I believe you've got the man of the hour with you now.
What's up?
Chris, you're crazy. You're talented, but you're crazy.
True story.
Yeah, man, there's a couple of times before that caution I had to send it through there because I knew if I wouldn't get in front of AJ and Linus, I had no shot at it. I had 50 seconds of damage on the car, so I knew on the, after a good 10, 15 laps, there's no way I was going to keep up with those guys. Wasn't expecting the caution. I kind of didn't want that caution to happen because I feel like I had a chance at it still. But when the caution came out, I was like, man, I got to take a chance. I got an extra set. Let's just see what happens. And boy, was that fun to go that last green, white checker.
Yeah, absolutely. I admittedly doubted you on that pit call, and well, basically you were the only one to properly make it work. To be honest, I think Adam got stuck behind some other drivers. I think
Yeah.
Marcus got stuck as well a little bit.
Yeah, this track, the momentum's everything. Like, even with that, Curtis blocked me there at the end, which, I mean, I'd have done the same thing to myself, too. And I thought that was going to be a huge momentum kill, but thankfully I was able to check up in enough time and shoot to the middle to get to Linus's inside. That way, if I knew if we were side by side down the back stretch, I'd be able to at least side draft him, hold him back, or, just so we could race in 3 and 4. But the new tires helped me out so much. I was just able to hammer down and get to the lead. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, and we saw on that last lap absolute carnage from, well, pretty much everywhere. What are your strategies trying to avoid that? Yeah.
Well, thankfully, all the guys I had to race with up front, those were good drivers. So, not that the guys at Reckon weren't. Things happen, I understand, but all the guys up front usually race me clean every week. So, I wasn't too worried about that. I just didn't want to run anybody over, so I just wanted to get as much positions as possible. And there I saw, I think it was going into 1 and 2. I can't even remember right now. I have to go back and look. But everybody went to the bottom, and on the older tires that was in front of me, and I just ripped the high side. I knew I was going to have such a run out of it, and it was coming out of 4, and that's where I was able to go for a chance for the lead. So it's pretty excited too, because I didn't think I was going to be able to, finish in even the top 10 there at first. After that incident with me and AJ, I had to check up for somebody, and AJ ended up getting into me, and I hit the wall, had a bunch of damage, so I didn't think I'd be able to come back and get a good finish. So I was pretty bummed the whole race up until the end, and then all of a sudden things got interesting again.
Yeah, I'm sure spirits have changed now, but looking forward, Bristol. What are your thoughts for 250 laps of a very, very interesting track?
Well, like I said, I'm just a sub at the moment, so if anybody needs a ride, you got a Ford or Toyota, I got you. And one of my favorite tracks, one of my best tracks. Definitely a lot of carnage will be held next weekend, but looking forward to racing it regardless if somebody needs me to.
Yeah, hoping to see you there. And looking at the standings, I think as a sub, you may well actually nearly be in the top 30 with a win. So
cool.
Looking pretty good that way as well. If you're able to get a full-time ride at any point before the playoffs. But congratulations! Before we let you go, who do you need to thank?
Maria for putting on the league, asked me to run. Brian being a good buddy, helping me out. You guys, SRM, for putting on the broadcast. The guys I race with in here, a lot of these guys are just so much fun to race with. And other than that, that's about it. I can't think of anything else. There's 4 fresh tires that I saved at the end. I would really like to thank those.
And a good buddy of yours, James Lowe, checking in.
James Lowe,
that's my 20.
Yeah, James Lowe, he builds the car for me every week. So he definitely got to thank him first and foremost. Wouldn't be able to be this fast without him. So I appreciate him a lot. Love you, James.
Yeah, well, congratulations, and hopefully we'll be seeing you on track in Bristol as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Y'all have a good one.
And from one sub to another, Tony, as you have Linus Brostrom with you now.
Absolutely, as subs dominating the action here for the most part tonight. Linus, talk us through those last couple of laps as you stayed out and you just barely able to hang on for second place, as that was a very tight finish between yourself and AJ Green.
Yeah, I mean, with that late caution, it was very unfortunate. I don't know if I would have won the race, but I felt like we had good tires compared to the others. Then obviously the caution did come out, so I was in 5th and was definitely going to pit. But with 2 cars pitting in front of me, that's basically going to put me behind the full row of cars on equal tires. So, I mean, the only chance I have then is to stay out, because I know I've got better tires than the 2 cars in front of me then, and hope that enough people stay out behind. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The first car on fresh tires nearly got spun out, so I could have got the win that way maybe. But you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't at that point. So if I had pitted, I would definitely not have won. And now I stayed out and I nearly won. So I guess I made the right choice in the end. But still, second place is good, and I did this race mainly to get practice for Thursday. And with the race that I had, and with these guys, and with the long green runs that we managed to get, I think it went pretty well.
Absolutely, as you mentioned, the Svenka iRacing Ligen round number 2 for the Cup Series. But, Linus, you were able to stay out of the trouble here tonight, especially on that last lap. I don't know if you had a chance to go back and take a look at all the carnage, but turn 3 was a parking lot behind you. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I saw stuff happening inside of me as well when we were 3 wide coming to the white, and then I just saw carnage happening behind me, and people on fresh tires obviously sending it, not really giving a crap about what's happening. You know, they've got fresh tires, they want to get to the front, which is a bit of an unfortunate way to end such a good race, because this is one of the best races I think I've been in a long time on iRacing. So it's a shame it had to come down to that at the end, but still, you know, everybody wants to get whatever they can. But yeah, thankfully I was far enough ahead to avoid it, and so I'm just happy about that, really.
Well, Linus, looking forward, the series moves to Bristol next Sunday. Your thoughts on possibly nabbing a substitute ride for that race?
Depends what time I start work on Monday, and also I have not checked when the Cup race starts, and since it's the cutoff race, I'm probably gonna watch that, but we'll see. Maybe I like short tracks, so I might show up. We'll have to see. But I need to check my work schedule and when NASCAR is on and all that. So actually, it's a Saturday night race, isn't it? I don't know.
I believe you are correct. It is the Saturday night race this week.
Yeah, so then I could race. It all depends on work, though. But that's a fun track. It's pretty hard to pass. I've not driven it in this car yet, though. So we'll see. Well,
Linus Brostrom, as you bring the HendrickCars.com number 5 to the second step of the podium here tonight, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate the podium with your team?
Well, first of all, obviously Ria for letting me race tonight, and the guys that I race with. Congratulations to Warrell on the win as well, and the other guys around me for a good race. And then obviously Force Esports and all our partners for all the encouragement and great racing over the weeks. And huge congratulations to the Cup winner without spoiling it, and you guys as well, obviously.
All right, Linus Brostrom, congratulations on the podium. Hopefully we're seeing you next week at Bristol.
Thank you.
And Jason, I do believe, if it's any solace to him, coming home in third place, still going to maintain the points lead. I believe you've got AJ Green with you now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do indeed, AJ. Interesting race here at Kansas. What are your thoughts from this?
Well, I got good and bad thoughts. Some good thoughts is the race was fun. 3 wide action, multi-lane racing, always great on iRacing to see for the broadcast. Some negatives. It would have to be the sub driver of Isaac Wilson. I don't know what he has with me, but he liked to park it in front of me a couple times, and I don't know. We'll see what happens in the weeks prior, but if he keeps doing it, he will expect a front bumper. A couple other drivers did piss me off again. I won't say their names. I just wanted to say Isaac's name because I don't like him. He doesn't like me. But overall, the race was good. congrats to Chris. He ran a better strategy.
Well, clearly a bit of beef here then, but it was interesting on the pit strategy of the last caution as well. Did you have any sets of tires left? And
No, me, I did not have any. I was hoping it would go green. I think I would have finished roughly where I finished, like third or fourth. So it wouldn't really have mattered. Just a little more stress with the caution involved. I definitely wish it went green.
yeah, well, it was looking to be a great finish, but we got a great finish nonetheless. It was a very chaotic last lap, I guess. I guess you avoided
Oh, it
most
was.
of it just by being in front of it.
Yeah, so my mirror was full of smoke.
Yeah.
Coming out of 2, I just saw cars going everywhere, and I'm like, okay, guaranteed top 5 at least.
I guess on a last lap, one of the things that you find solace in is if your mirror looks like it's had a smoke grenade thrown at it.
It's always good when you're not involved in it.
Yeah, it can be quite funny to watch it back as well, I guess. But going forward, what are your thoughts moving into Bristol next week?
Well, I'm sure a lot of drivers are gonna hit the DQ limit. I wonder if Rhea might set it a little higher for a short track.
I think she normally does for Bristol and Martinsville.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think we're gonna need it. I'll probably be in some beef somewhere on the track. And yeah.
Well, there you go. And before we let you go and, well, maybe celebrate, who do you need to thank?
Shout out to y'all for broadcasting. Shout out to my teammates. Colin Sped. I don't think Mike showed up. And shout out to Rhea for putting on the lead. Chris for winning, putting on the better strategy, saving that set of tires.
Yeah, well, congratulations, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can bring to Bristol.
Thank you.
So that was our top 3, as we are going to take a look at the finishing order now. Another one in the books, Jason, is Chris Worrell, Linus Brostrom, AJ Green rounding out your podium. Adam Duff hanging on for 4th. Christian Malsharek in his best finish of the season so far, coming home with the top 5. Dare safe to say that he's finally getting the hang of these ovals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does take a little bit of getting used to, especially from the road side of things. It's very, very different. It's not necessarily easier either, of which most road drivers think it would be. So great job from him, as Marcus Hagman coming through in 6th with James Bowles in 7th. Eugene Thorne 8th, Nathan Alul on his Cup Series debut as a sub in the 48, coming through in 9th, and Mikael Hagström rounding out our top 10.
Hagström in his first ride with Penske puts it in the top 10. JB Banner, great recovery drive for him, as he and Charles Robertson being scored as the last 2 cars on the lead lap. Excuse me, Curtis Kelly, Alex Weigert, Zach Phillips rounding out your top 15, all 1 lap down. Excuse me, Colin Zimmer, Emily Fergrell, and Johnny Castle in your top 18. 19th going to Jason Ricketts and Chris V, rounding out your top 20. Jason?
Yep, and then 21st position is going to go to Clarence Prince and his first full-time race this season, with Mark Hanna taking 22nd place. And then Angel Hernandez, unfortunately, finishing in 23rd, not able to quite recover from the pit blunders early in the race, with Colin Forrester in 24th. 25th going to Derek Cook, 26th Bob Wyckoff, 27, 28, 29 going to go to Rhea Ferris, Dave Holmberg, and Christian Delgado, with the top 30 being rounded out by Brian Chu.
Emily Urias coming home in 31st. Jeff Weimer, Isaac Wilson, John Hopley, and Ricky Hudgens rounding out your top 20 or top 35. Damian Mulvey, a night he'd just as soon forget after starting in the top 5. Had to put it on the hauler early after getting caught up in a mid-race melee. Dave Miller, Chad Thornquist, Jonas Skoglund, and Tristan Rivers rounding out your starters. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, unfortunately, could not take the green due to connection issues. So that is going to do it for us tonight from the Never Forget 200 at Kansas. Be sure to subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action. As coming up this week, we've got a ton of racing left. Tonight, the nightcap is going to be the Davis Brothers Roofing 200 from here at Kansas as part of Sunday Night NASCAR. And that is a 8:20 Eastern Time start. Tomorrow night, the AARL Truckers Feed America Cup Series. That is not tomorrow. That is Tuesday. That'll be an 8:20 Eastern Time start for that. The Rick Motec Cup Series, round number 9 from Iowa. That'll be an 8:40 Eastern Time start. The Monster Energy Cup Series, Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League, they will go to round number 6 at looks like Martinsville. That'll be an 8:50 Eastern Time start for that one. And then the nightcap on Tuesday night, as always, Western States Racing League, round number 10. And that's a broadcast I'm looking forward to watching from Hickory at 10:05 Eastern Time. So that's going to do it for us tonight from Kansas, the Never Forget 200. We do remember all of those lost in the attacks on 9/11 21 years ago. Never forget. And for Jason Ricketts and Sim Racing Media, this is Tony. Go ahead, Jason.
Just Jason Salford. Ricketts was
I'm sorry, Jason. I'm not even with
That's
it anymore.
fine.
So for Jason Salford, as part of Sim Racing Media, this is Tony Trapassa reminding ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again, and as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Good night.